trying to avoid, you know, a tank yelling, use your AT, use your AT. And they just would, not going to name names, but there was one or two people who they just went prone and watched it go by while someone else took the initiative, you know, like 10 seconds later and took out their AT and took out the vehicle.
That actually reminds me what you're saying. When you guys were up on that OP, there was that near blue-on-blue incident with the rocket attack from Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see on the SATCOM, it looked like a huge rocket strafe just missed you guys.
Yeah, that too. He was just to the east of us on the hill, and actually, if your KZ hadn't moved like 30 seconds earlier, he would have been killed by that. And that was a big breakdown in communications because I was clearly telling them to only engage a big group of enemies to the south of the radio tower, and that was nowhere close.
If I can interject on that one, I remember the rocket attack because I personally fired them. This was before we got the orders for the radio tower, directly before the radio tower.
Hang on there, Rocket. Let me interject you there for a second. I was listening on comms during that whole bit, and from what I remember, and like I said, this is from what I remember, they were talking you guys onto the guys down at the crossroads near the radio tower. Let me finish. The crossroads near the radio tower, and I could see your gunner designator on the targets, and then later, about a minute after that, I got the call about the near miss.
Yeah, well,
okay.
I don't know what happened, but you know there were no casualties, thank God.
Right, I was actually puzzled by that because if you heard, he had his laser right on the guys I wanted to kill, and I said, "Kill those guys your lasers are on right now." And you didn't fire, then the laser just started going everywhere else. So then you didn't even engage them until after you had repositioned.
Right. Well, that's on on the gunner, but he's not here.
Yeah, that's right. I'll take that heat round. I was in control of the helicopter, so I'll take that round, and we'll make sure we communicate a little better next time.
But other than the chatter that I mentioned, though, our radio comms were pretty good within the squad and over long range.
Yeah, I do have a question, Corporal Khaki. You mentioned you had some communication breakdowns. Were all of your teams, or was your entire squad on the same short range? Or were you using different channels for each team?
When I was talking about like the certain incident I was talking about, we were all on the same channel. Actually, we were on the same channel for the entire time.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good because I've tried to do it before, putting separate teams on different short ranges. It doesn't work like at all.
Yeah, we were on the same short range, but you know, it seemed like sometimes, and I also had this with you, but then understandably you might have been talking to someone else
right
at the time where you know, we'd call I'd call something out of the radio to you, or Khaki would say something over to the team and get no response, and we'd wait 10 seconds and we'd have to call again to either, you know, to get a response or to get someone to listen.
Yeah, the problem that I was encountering was that I carry 3 radios on me. I just carry a short range as a backup, a 152 to monitor channel 1, so I can always hear if somebody's trying to call HQ. And then my 117 I use to switch between the channels since it's the most powerful. When I have the SATCOM open, I can't switch what radio I'm using. I can change the channels and all the settings of my active radio, but I can't change which one.
You can do Alt Shift and then 1, 2, 3, and so on, and each one will bind to the radios in the order that you place them on yourself, and that'll key it up.
I just use Control Shift A to cycle between my radios, and then just talk on that one. I don't use alternate push to talk.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, you know, regardless. Hang on, Kelsey. Hang on. I don't like using alternate push-to-talk keys, generally. And I mean, if you noticed, like the most times you ever had to call me, or you were trying to get contact with me, and I wasn't responding because I was on another channel, was like once or twice, and then I would switch over.
Yeah.
And usually that was within 10 seconds.
Yeah. Also, if you use
it just takes me a second to back out of SATCOM and switch.
Yeah, just something to note, the alternate keys that I just told you about, if you just tap in the key for a radio, it'll also switch the radio so you can then use your default your regular push to talk key to talk over it.
Right. Well, I just tried Control Shift 1, 2, and 3, and it doesn't do anything.
Might not be bound for
yeah,
you.
it's probably not, but that's something I'll have to do.
Might be different keys, the old bindings.
Right. So regardless, who had something else to say?
Me.
Caboose.
Okay, go ahead.
For that, one sec, that's too loud.
Yeah.
For that thing that Khaki said about the, communication thing on the Victor 2, we did dismount, like, the driver, I forget his name, but he backed up a little bit into a good position, then all the others dismount, and he probably just thought we weren't dismounting because the, MG fired, but that was just me on the MG just manning it, because it was, more firepower.
Right. Well, hang on a second. Let me interrupt for a sec. Khaki, quick question. When you gave that order, did you tell them to dismount or bail out?
Oh, I said dismount, but I said all. of
Yeah,
Victor 2.
Exactly.
I
Just
said all of
remember.
Victor 2 dismount.
Right. Just remember, there from your training, there is from the NDOC, there is a difference between bail out and dismount.
Roger.
One of the reasons that we didn't think that you guys dismounted was because, like we found later when you guys got all blown up by the tank or whatever, you were all, we found you were all still in it, and we still saw the thing moving around and we didn't see any of you dismounted, and that's why we thought you weren't paying attention to it.
Oh yeah, and one thing. Not about the dismounting so much, but I'm not sure if Victor 2 had visual on it, but like at least 10-15 meters down the road there was a T-72. Me and Tukolsky were both calling it out to everyone over there, but no response again.
Yeah. To
All right.
build on
Okay, go ahead.
to build on my comment earlier, and you know who you are, do not take AT unless you actually intend to use it. If you don't intend to use it, say you don't feel comfortable using AT, it'll be assigned to someone else. Because we can't have someone just, when there's a tank right in front of you, just sit there and decide not to use your AT.
Well, another thing, Tukolsky, is, from what I recall, you had said, did you specify a specific person to engage with their AT?
Yes, I did call this person's out.
I'm not gonna ask for names. I'm
Right.
just wondering if you did.
I
or
did call
not.
this person out. I yelled name. Use your AT. Use your AT. Or get him, something like that. But I was telling him I was yelling at him specifically to use his AT because he was already facing it, and in a good position to fire. And then he just went prone in front of it, trying to avoid it, while the Shilka shot up and killed Khaki. In the meantime, someone else ran up with their AT and took it out.
If I may.
Oh, go ahead.
What happened there is I heard someone yell, "Get down!" So I hit the deck, and by the time I'd pulled my AT off my back, which admittedly took longer than it should have, because I was a bit disoriented from the dismount. By the time I'd got it out and loaded, the thing exploded right in front.
I think Tukolsky was talking more about those who were already dismounted. I don't know. There were some moments. Let me finish. There were some moments where I didn't have SATCOM up on you guys. I was also tracking other hostiles in your area. There were some infantry to your southeast. I was keeping track of those guys, trying to call artillery in on them since they were in the trees. But I think everybody's said their piece. They know what needs to be done for future reference. So I can tell there's a little tension on that. So we're just gonna avoid it for right now. But yeah, I think everybody's kind of said their piece. Does anyone have anything else to say before we're finished?
Sorry for touching on it again, but I'd say just don't worry about that whole situation, because the whole thing was kind of a mess in general. So
I have one more thing.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Khaki, good job on commanding the squads and the main AO.
Thanks.
Oh yeah, there is one more thing I want to say. In regards to AOs, prioritize the radio towers before the camps if you can. Because from what I saw on SATCOM and from what I realized, you guys went for the camps first, and then got the tower after you got all the camps.
Yeah, there was at least one paragraph we could have avoided.
Yeah, we took the first western camp just because it was on the way to the
Right, that made sense. It was right there.
yeah, and then I wanted to move my team to Hill 28, but there was a bunker there, so we took cover. And then we took engagements from the southeast, or sorry, northeast, and things just kind of rolled on.
Yeah, just kind of daisy chained into using them for cover, and then get it when you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know how that is. I've experienced that before.
Yeah, I wanted to take the radio tower down ASAP, but it just, as we went along.
Well, you've got smoke. I mean, it is, there is plenty of moonlight. The enemy can see you, but so that makes smoke effective. And I don't know, Keith, Luck, you guys might be able to inform us. Do the mortars have smoke rounds?
Yeah, they do, but because we were over at OP Iron Man, we're kind of isolated from our ammo source, so we just brought a bunch of HE with us. But there are 81mm Willie Pete's.
Okay, well, there we go. Now we a future reference if we need something like that. And for the next AO, we're probably going to use the Paladin for the enhanced range.
Message. I got
Go ahead.
one thing here. Just for all the US SOCOM guys and the contractors and the pubbers for that matter, I don't mean to be the guy to gripe about the discipline, but one thing did happen there that I did not agree with, and I kept my mouth shut about it. Let the Master Chief happen. It is at no time acceptable to request to shoot anybody inside of the mission, ever. So if there's insubordination or something like that going on, report it up, and we'll take care of it. So that's all I'm going to say about it. We don't need to go into any more. Myself and Master Chief can talk about that later, but it's just unacceptable.
Okay, guys, that's it for the debrief. Hart, you with us?